Minas Ithil, once home to many Gondorians, is now a stomping ground for the invading orcs. A last alliance of elves and men march upon this fortress in an attempt to reoccupy it and launch an invasion of the land of Mordor. Seeing this, Sauron has dispatched an army of Angmar allies to defend its walls, fielding thousands of orcs, as well as dark men, trolls, and undead. This army will hold on to Minas Ithil until its very last breath. Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? And welcome to the channel. For you today, I've got a lovely Wars of Arda Siege featuring me and Carmondai playing as a last alliance of elves and men, Lindon and Arthedain, going up against an Angmar defense in Minas Ithil led by Wars of Arda Master Bilbo. This was a brilliant game that the three of us had, and the ending, it was such a tight ending that led to a few interesting switcheroos, let's just say. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into the army comps. Starting with Carmondai, playing as Arthedain. He's brought a few units of Arthedain men-at-arms. These guys just Arthedain's basic sword and board infantry. You can bring a few of them before you go into the red limit, but I mean, they're really a nice, cheap frontline unit that you can bring. Not armor piercing though, however, because they're swords, unlike the next unit on the block, which is the Arthedain shield breakers. Very similar to the Arthedain, not Arthedain men-at-arms, except for the fact they're macemen instead of swordsmen, giving them that just armor piercing edge that might help against the Angmar bastion of defense. We've got a unit of Dunedain militia here, just padding out the numbers, because we're going to need a lot of numbers against the defense we're going up against, and just having a nice cheap 300 cost cheap unit of spears is always nice for a faction. We've got the Wardens of the North and a couple units of Dunedain Rangers just hidden. These guys, Dunedain Rangers, very good archers. They don't have the body piercing shots like they did in the last Reforged patch. Obviously, in the new build, Rangers have lost that body piercing. But Wars of Arda were one of the first people to do that. So yeah, this mod has that, which is quite nice. But because they've lost that body piercing edge, now Rangers are really quite good in melee, doubling up as basically a range melee hybrid. Sword and shield in melee, just bows at range, incredible. Wardens to the North, this is not the bodyguard tier unit that the general is in. Really quite expensive, but you are paying for a steel bow that I believe has morale debuff effects. And of course, due to that being that steel bow, they've got armor piercing at range, and then when they're in melee, they pull out a massive two-handed axe, and that literally just makes them truly a foe to encounter. We've got the Elendilmir Guardians. These guys, Arthedain's high-tier polearm unit. I believe you can only bring one of them before the red limit, but Bilbo informed me that you can bring two. However, he is the only person I've ever seen bring two of these in the same army. So I'm just going to stick with my gut and say you can only have one before the red limit. Naturally, in any Arthedain army, you're going to have some Arthedain pikemen. I believe Harms brought a couple units of these. Oh wait, no, he's only actually brought one. Okay, he's only brought one unit of Arthedain pikemen. These guys, just being a pike, it's so useful. Non-armor piercing, but they've got that lovely long reach that pikes have, and that phalanx ability could come in incredibly useful. Naturally, he's also brought the Elendilmir Defenders. These guys are the spear version of the Elendilmir Guardians, who build that halberd. And these guys just incredibly tanky. Just that shield value means range units are going to struggle against them. And that spear, they won't get as much damage done as stuff like swordsmen, but they will last a whole lot longer. Second to last here, we've got a unit of dismounted knights for Illuminus. These guys are holding King. It's not going to be Aragorn. It's probably one of Aragorn's descendants, however. I believe using the Aragorn model from Reforged or DAC, although I could be completely wrong on that. These guys, they've had a nice visual upgrade from what they are in Reforged. They've got that nice new gold silver shield, and that chest plate and helmet just looks absolutely beautiful with the masks just topping it off. Oh my god. Swordboard bodyguard unit, meaning these guys very resilient to missiles. They've got that 2 hit points, which is just an extra crutch for them to walk on. And naturally, because they're swordsmen, they don't have that armor piercing, but they are tankier than two-handed units. Next up, we've got the Champion Knights of Elostirion. I believe that Swordmaster and Warsvada are armor piercing, but I could be completely wrong. These guys 2 hit points. They've got that shield on their back, which means it's essentially useless. But fear and terror causing, looking incredibly stunning with that blue cape and lovely chest plates and masks and helmets. And these guys, they will just rip through stuff if left unchecked by bodyguard units. Finally, in his army, we've got a unit of Dunedain commanders. These guys, axemen, so obviously armor piercing and melee, but they've got that nice little shield that just offers them a little bit of protection against missile fire. Now then, moving across the bridge to my position, where I've dabbled into the red a little bit with this army, and I've brought 2 units of Warriors of Midland. These guys, they're essential for any Lindon army you might build. They've got a really nice arch unit in the heavy Flathrim archers, but unlike every other elfin faction in this mod, they only have 1 unit of archers that can perform in melee, and that is the Warriors of Midland. Silverthorn arrows at range with incredibly damaging projectiles of, I believe, 10 missile damage, high ammo count of 24, and of course spears in melee, so even cavalry is going to struggle to shut these guys down. They've got a decent quantity of armor, meaning they're going to be fairly resilient to missile fire, and once they, as you can see now, they can hide, which just makes them so nice. And I believe they'll be getting a slight debuff in terms of their ammo and archer capabilities, but I believe in one of the upcoming builds when Lindon gets that rebalance that I'm working on sorting out balance wise. I'm definitely of the belief that Lindon is a faction that's suffering somewhat. They're very glass cannon, and my balancing ideas for these I've laid out to Bilbo, and with any luck he'll take them into consideration. But yeah, Warriors of Midland, essential for any Lindon army. If you don't bring them, it's not going to be a good day for you. I brought a couple units of heavy Flathrim Sea Wards. These guys just spearmen, pretty much bog standard spearmen. Nothing to write home about in terms of stats, but if you can get these guys into any kind of choke point, they'll hold for a decent amount of time. But don't expect them to get a super heavy number of kills. I brought 3 of them. And we've also got a couple of units of heavy Flathrim Wavebreakers. These guys, Lindon's 2nd AP tier of AP unit. The first being just base Flathrim Wavebreakers. These guys, more heavily armoured, albeit they do suffer more in the skill department due to that fact. Axes, of course, mean they're AP, and they should be perfect at dealing with any trolls that Bilbo brings to bear. We've got the heavy Flathrim Sea Guard. I've stuck these guys into loose formation because I do know that Angmar can bring crossbows, and I don't want these guys getting shot up before they even have a chance to participate in the fight. Just having some kind of pike unit on my side is really, really useful, and this is the highest tier of pike you can bring to bear as Lindon. I brought 2 units of bodyguard tier units, that being the Arbony Ecthelion, which are swordmasters. I do believe these guys don't have armor piercing. They've got a nice morale buffing effect, and they're elves. They've got that quality that they can bring to a fight, as well as that melee defense from being and damage from being a swordmaster unit. I've also brought the Arban E Aarendil, who are a sword and board bodyguard tier unit. Very similar, I would argue, in terms of functionality to the Knights of Annuminus. Was it Dismounted Knights of Annuminus? Whatever. The sword and board bodyguard unit that Arthedain can bring in terms of functionality, albeit they do have that slight stat buff due to the fact they're elves. I'm just noticing this. For some reason, some of these guys don't have their swords out. I think that is just Med 2 being Med 2 though. But yeah, that's a bit goofy. And last but not least, over the bridge, I've got the 2 units of heavy Flathrum archers. My general is in the most front of these. There's Círdan. And these guys, they've got, I believe, split shot. I could be completely wrong. This is just what Bilbo's told me. But they definitely have a different projectile to what most archers have. Very nice and strong at range. I believe they've got missile strength of 8 or 9. Maybe 7 actually. But yeah, non-armor piercing, but that split shot could come in useful. And they're pushovers in melee. They're so bad in melee. If you haven't sent these guys into melee, you've pretty much lost the battle. Unless your enemy is down to very few men. Or if you've got 2 units of Wardens of Mithlond like me. Because naturally I wait forever to send them in. But yeah, tactics wise, I've just adopted the tactic of stick your general in one of your units of archers. If it's a bodyguard tier archer unit, that's so much better. But what that does is it frees up your bodyguard tier units to be used much earlier on in the fight, and that just might get you through a defense and just stick the defender in a bit spot of bother. Now then, guarding the gate, Bilbo's gone for the use of excessive force. He has almost nothing facing off against Carmondai. Absolutely nothing. But against me, he's got 3 units of Iron Orc Pikemen. These guys just pretty much bog standard Orc Pikemen. I believe they're going to be better than... Well, they're definitely better than any other Orc factions' pikes. Well, yeah, because no other Orc faction has pikes. But yeah, these guys are just very useful unit for Angmar to have. In the same vein as the pikemen, they've got Iron Orc spears. These guys just, again, bog standard spears. Nothing to write home about, but that 161 unit count is very useful for a faction like Angmar. He's gone for a few units of Barrow Wights. These guys, like in Reforged, let's just hide them. Like in Reforged, these guys just 2 hit points, slow moving, just absolute tanks to slog through. However, Archer Fire, if you have high damage Archer Fire, they're so good. It's so good for clearing out Barrow Wights. But yeah, these guys, pretty weak melee stats, but because of that second hit point, they're exceptionally tanky. He's brought 2 units of Ulfhednar, which are essentially the opposite of Barrow Wights. Pretty low unit count, well, model count, but the damage they can dish out in a short time is immense. However, again, they sacrifice a lot of melee defense in favor of having a high melee attack, so they tend to suffer if against high damage units in return that can also defend themselves. He's brought a couple units of Trolls, the Trolls of Angmar, and I believe back here, the Troll God of the Iron Crown. Trolls of Gundabad, they're your bog standard Trolls. Very different to Trolls you'd see in Reforged, insofar as Trolls in this mod have a much lower hit point count, but they can dish out a lot of damage if used correctly. Just backing them up with infantry becomes even more important, and making sure they don't get shot up before they reach the front line is important as well. Troll God of the Iron Crown, they have a lower model count, but they're so much more elite. They've got more hit points than the Trolls of Angmar, and they can dish out a ton of damage if allowed to. Back here, he has got the Wardens of the Iron Crown, a armor piercing, I believe, archer unit. So they've got steel bows. And they're Zweihanders in melee, so they're no slouches. And these guys can just absolutely decimate armies. Well, not armies, but if you're down to remnants and it's elites, they'll wreck them. And you never want that to happen. He's brought a couple units of Iron Orc crossbows. Again, probably one of the units I'm most scared about. Units like Iron Orc pikes and Arthedain, they don't worry me. My main worry is if these guys can get enough shots off, they might actually whittle down my elfin army so much that I just can't do anything with it. And if they're able to do that, we're gonna have a big problem, me and Carmondi. Over here, I believe his general... Nope, no, it's not. He's got a unit of Legion of Khan Doom, bodyguards here, macemen, so they've got that armor piercing combined with that massive shield, protecting them from a lot of arrow fire. These guys just absolutely incredible. I believe they've got an Uruk high helmet there, actually. But yeah, these guys, they could absolutely cause a lot of problems. But nowhere near as many problems as these guys could cause us. The Storm Giants of Angmar. Elephant class units, meaning that, I mean, technically spears will be good against them. Because of their low size, arrows are not the greatest. And that's a big problem that I ended up facing this battle when trying to deal with them. But yeah, elephants, so they have AoE attacks. Very, very high stats, I believe 50 and 110. Melee attack and defense respectively, combined with an additional 50 charge. So if you can get these guys charging, they're going to do so much damage. But yeah, that should be it with the army comps. Actually, wait, no. We've got a unit of Northveld Bondi over here. Very low tier, armor piercing axe unit. Just very poor quality. But if they're going up against elves, any kill they get is going to be valuable. And I'm assuming that since there's only one, this was just a unit that Bilbo thought, right, I've got like 300 gold left, let's just grab it. But yeah, that armor piercing could prove to be very useful against a faction like Arthedain. But yeah, let's get stuck in and watch the slaughter. So, I'll probably make a quick cut here because obviously nothing much is going to happen. We have to wait for Calm to cross the river, and then, yeah, I'm not going to attack for a little while anyway. So yeah, I will see you in a minute. Right then, so return now to see Carmondi marching his Dunedain militia through the streets of Minas Ithil in his attempt to reclaim it for the men of the Dunedain. Dunedain militia they're about to get absolutely murked by the Storm Giants of Angmar, unfortunately for them. But he's just getting all of his soldiers set up on the wall. Where's the fighting going on? There's no way we can... Oh, I guess we can. Yeah. Dunedain militia, they're not gonna hold up too well against a unit like the Storm Giants of Angmar. And they are dropping like flies. Oh my god, those poor souls. But yeah, as this happens, I am breaking down I was breaking down Bilbo's gates. And I'm about to finish getting my siege towers set up on the walls and just getting my guys up there. Because I see Carmondi's poor innocents just getting absolutely massacred, and decide, yeah, I probably need to take all of this attention away from him. Which is why... Yeah, there we go. Which is why I start sending up my heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers and Sea Guard onto the walls. And Bilbo sees this as a brilliant time to explain to me... Well, no, I already knew this, but to show off the fact that the trolls are heavy infantry. Yeah, it's not... These poor heavy Flathrum Sea Wards, they don't know what's about to happen to them. Yeah, back over here, Calm's moving up his Elendilmir defenders. in an attempt to back up his rattled Dunedain militia, with his Wards of the North also getting set up in the city. He's just attempting to get as many of his soldiers off the walls and right into settlement as possible. Bilbo's gone for the... Yeah, here we are. I'm trying to use my archers to shoot his pikes a bit, just whittle them down, because obviously I don't want to have to deal with 3 full health units of pikes. And my poor heavy Flathrum Sea Wards are being introduced to the Trolls of Angmar. Now, the unfortunate thing about this is that spears don't perform very well against trolls, funnily enough. Axes tend to be the answer. And these poor heavy Flathrum Sea Wards do not have axes. We're bloodying up a few of them, but... Okay, there goes the gate. But yeah, these guys, they're just getting massacred. I do decide to send my heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers in there in an attempt to just support them. But there's such little left of this unit already. This is how quickly trolls can decimate units in Wars of Arda if they're not going up against units that can actually kill models with relative ease. They might last a lot less time, but in that time they can dish out a lot of damage. And even these heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers are... they're suffering some pretty egregious casualties. And none of these Trolls of Angmar have fallen yet. Oh, there goes one. I believe that was to a brave spearman, actually. These guys still staying in the fight. There's 2 of them left. One of them left. Nope, they're all dead. Everybody's dead, Dave. Yeah, my heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers, well, they're definitely killing these Trolls of Angmar. But they are losing. And these trolls are getting such good value off. Meanwhile, on this patch of wall, my other unit of heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers is surrounded by a unit of Northfell Bondi and a unit of Arthedain. Now, if it was just a heavy Flathrum Wave Breaker against Arthedain, I reckon the heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers would win that. They've got the man advantage, they've got that elven quality on their side. I reckon they'd probably win against just Arthedain. But with that flanking force of Northfell Bondi, it's probably they're dead. I doubt they can fight their way out of that. I mean, that said, they are winning, which is, I find very amusing. But yeah, as soon as one of these elves dies, it's going to be right back to defeat. Yeah, there we are. Meanwhile, over here, Calm's trying to use a unit of his Elendilmir defenders to beat up units of Iron Orc pikemen, but he's realised that that's probably not going to work, and he's resorted to shooting them with his Dunedain Rangers, which is a pretty good idea, to be fair to him. Pikes are just a nightmare to deal with. He's holding off this unit of Barrow Wights as well as a unit of Iron Orc Spears that's just embedded itself in it. And he also has this full... No one's died in this unit of Stormguards, by the way. And they get an insane number of kills by the end of this battle. But they're just having a field day fighting their way through all of these Dunedain. I'm getting my heavy Flathrum archers to just try and... still just trying to whittle down these pikes. I don't want to have to deal with all these pikes and spearmen and just everything. Meanwhile, eventually... Well, it might not actually be for a while, to be fair. But yeah, my heavy Flathrum Sea Wards, these guys, they're just waiting to be sent in. Column's got his Elendilmir Guardians and Arthedain pikes over here, just in an attempt to support me if I do manage to make a push. Over here I've got this unit of heavy Flathrum Wave Breakers. They're pretty much dead, but this unit of heavy Flathrum Sea Wards and that unit have managed to beat down all of those trolls and are now slowly but surely killing this unit of Wolf Headnar that are also killing them. But let's not worry about that. These Heavy Flattering Wavebreakers, they've done an absolute number on these Wolf Headnar. 103, I believe, down to just 33. And the Northfell Bondi also taking a similar pounding. And these guys, I don't see them routed. Well, it says they're wavering, but there's just not enough damage being done quickly enough to rout these guys anytime soon. Meanwhile, in the gate, still nothing's going on. Just absolutely nothing. I still view this gate as being too strong. A, because he's got his Wardens of the Iron Crown just trained. And he's also got a couple units of crossbows just waiting. In fact, that's actually what's doing most of the damage against my Heavy Flattering units over here. Just these crossbows are unleashing volleys in here. And that's probably saved his Wolf Headnar there, to be fair. These Barrow Wights, they're just doing Barrow Wight things and just tanking. Calm sent his Dunedain Rangers out to try and fight them in melee. They're not bad in melee, as you can see, they're Sword and Shield. But even so, then they're not going to kill these Barrow Wights anytime soon. And the reason it looks like they're dying really quickly is there's 2 units of them in here. These Iron Orc Spears just causing problems for this unit of Dunedain Militia. I'm actually surprised they haven't routed yet. Com sent his Champion Knights of Tyrion in an attempt to shut down these Storm Giants of Angmar. But even these guys, they're suffering. They've lost 9 men and no Storm Giants have died. Again, we've got Dismounted Knights of Illuminus also trying to take them down. And while they haven't lost anyone, they're still... None of these Storm Giants have fallen. Which is just insane. This unit of Elendilmere defenders just staunchly holding the line against these Barrow Wights, who are slowly but surely whistling them down. Albeit, I mean, these guys would have held on for a long time if not for that unit of Storm Giants just coming to slaughter them from behind. I've just decided, alright, no, this attack is not for me right now. I've still got a nice amount of ammo, but only the front 3 lines and some of the back few are shooting. I'm assuming that's because of just line of sight with me trying to shoot these Iron Orc pikemen, of course. I've actually done a really good job of whistling these guys down. They've lost some Iron Orc spears. Their pikemen are looking riddled. And basically, Carmondai, he's taking so much pressure off of me at the moment. This unit of crossbows, it's not worrying about me anymore. Oh wait, I didn't even see this. The unit of Arthedain Men at Arms is just getting... Yeah, they're losing to that unit of Troll of the Iron Crown. And the Legion of Carndoon and Iron Orc Spears. Yeah, that's a rather unfortunate matchup there. Calm did move his Warden to the north over here in an attempt to try and shoot his steel bows into these Troll Guard. But, I mean, even in melee, they should just massacre them. They've got the stats, they've got that second hit point, and they've got the AP required. These Troll Guard of the Iron Crown, they should go down relatively quickly, despite being most of the trolls that Angmar can bring. Yeah, sure enough, there drops one of them. And with just one of these guys drop in, there's an extra few that are bloodied up. And yeah, there goes another one. These guys, they're probably going to start dropping like flies relatively soon, since they're fighting these guys. Dunedain commanders just staying out of the fight. But Calm's got his unit of Dunedain ranged, so I'm assuming they're trying to shoot this unit of Storm Giants, who's actually lost one. I think this happened in the actual fight. But yeah, you can see those telltale Silverthorns. I was trying, I believe, to shoot the Storm Giants over the wall. And definitely did more friendly fire than actual damage looking at it now. Calm's decided, yeah, nah, I'm probably not going to do too well shooting the Storm Giants, so he's now shooting the Iron Orc Spears and Barrow Wights with those Rangers. And I think Calm's realised now that he's probably not going to win this fight over on the right-hand side of the city. However, everything Bilbo has is now on the outer walls. Everything in the fight and at the gate is everything he has. He's moved his unit, his Iron Orc pikes, over to here in an attempt to just draw them out of the line of fire in my archers, of course. But this unit of pikes it's suffering. It's suffering a lot. And this unit of Iron Orc spears has lost a few more men. Of course, he's still got these two units over here, but 25 Wolf Headnar. That might do a little bit of damage, but 65 Northfell Bondi, that's doing almost nothing. He's desperately saving this unit of Iron Orc pikemen, and I don't blame him in the slightest. That could be incredibly useful to him in the late game. We've got poor Arthedain men-at-arms just bugged out in the main courtyard. And yeah, at this point, Calm, he's pretty much spent. I've decided, yeah, I should probably start shooting the Barrow Wights, because that's actually the best way to deal with them. Surprisingly. This unit of Dunedain Rangers, I believe, might be out of ammo, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he's moving these guys up here in an attempt to make them safe from the Storm Giants, who are just, yeah, they're causing a few problems. They've actually slaughtered that unit of one to the north. But yeah, Carmondai, he's just running his guys outside, which is pretty funny, to be fair. There's only 6 Trogg out of the Iron Crown left remaining. And yeah, Carmondai, I'm terribly sorry about this. I did sort of leave you to die. You were probably thinking during all that, please just charge through the gate at some point, please. But no, I didn't do it, and yeah. You definitely paid the price there. Yeah, at this point, it's still pretty tight. I mean, I've still got my entire army left. I'm moving my heavy Valathrium Sea Guard and both of my bodyguard units up, because I'm thinking, alright, yeah, we're not looking too good over here. I'm probably going to need to make a push pretty soon. Naturally, you can see, after being shot, these Barrow Wights, they're looking rather unhealthy, with 97 left of these guys. Very soon to be, yeah, 97, 49. And I mean, a lot of those, that's going to be melee kills, of course. There's only 44 of these guys left. And I believe I eventually turned my attention to the Iron Orc crossbows, because I don't want to have to deal with Iron Orc crossbows, of course. The Legion of Khan Doom have just, yeah, they've had their way with Commandai's units over here. And these ones, the Iron Crown, they've not used any of their ammo yet, I believe. So he's still got a full unit of incredibly damaging archers remaining with full ammo, which, it's a daunting prospect, especially since he's got a couple units of Iron Orc crossbows remaining as well. But yeah, 2 of his units of Barrow Wights are pretty much dead. However, unfortunately, Calm's Champion Knights are additionally very nearly dead. They'll probably manage to beat down these Iron Orc spears, however, before succumbing to their wounds. Endilmir Guardians and Arthedain pikemen moving over to Calm's remaining soldiers' side. And wait. Those trolls, there's no way they carried on outside the settlement, right? Bilbo did save them. Oh my god. They might have actually gone outside. Yeah, my guys are being a bit thick here. Guys, typically, you're not meant to shoot into the city wall or your own siege tower. And yeah, you can see a lot of these arrows are just hitting that and just stopping right there. But yeah, I believe I'm actually trying to shoot these Iron Orc crossbows. I mean, yeah, you can see like the occasional one is getting downed right there. And I've also started shooting this unit of Iron Orc crossbows as well. And that's going pretty well. They've lost 30 men. and Bill always had to put them in loose formations, just try and save them somehow. The addition of the second unit of Barrow Wights, these Champion Knights, despite still being alive, are going to lose this fight, of course. Yep, there goes another one. But they're still getting kills as this fight goes on, which, fair enough. This guy's just got 2 in the time we've been watching it. And I'm still shooting these Barrow Wights once again, as well as this unit of Iron Orc crossbows, because I just don't want to have to worry about it. I've switched my target away from these guys because most of the arrows were just hitting the wall, meaning that there just wasn't that much good coming from it. However, at the gate, things are looking really quite good. This unit of Iron Orc pikemen is down to 66 men, only 152 Iron Orc spears. The small remainders of that fight up there on the wall, which, looking at it, you can see there's a lot of dead Rudarians. Unfortunately for Bill, right there. And I've moved my heavy flattering archers up, who are now, I believe, out of ammo, unfortunately. Yep, indeed they are. They've got their, like, little short swords out. However, I do still have ammo on both units of my Warriors of Midland. And what I'm doing is, I'm not sure, but I think I was shooting it as trolls of Storm Giants even. I know his trolls are still alive. He's got 6 troll out of the Iron Crown, just making sure that Carmondai doesn't go back up there. No, don't send your Elendilmere Guardians up onto the wall, Carm. Please don't do that. No, Carmondai, you're making a grave mistake here. Polearms against trolls, even if the halberds are not going to do well, especially when they're on the wall, because they just don't have their formation to fall back on. You'd have been better off sending up your unit of Dunedain commanders to deal with them. As it stands, I would say you've actually just sacrificed that unit almost. I mean, yes, they'll beat this unit of Trollguard of the Iron Crown. I have no doubts about that. They're all bloodied up. There's 6 of them left. However, those Trollguard of the Iron Crown are going to give them such a bloody nose. I mean, yeah, it even says victory seems certain. I mean, that said, they are only fighting about 20 guys, but yeah, they've lost about 15 guys already, and they've killed how many other trolls? Okay, they've killed 1. So yeah, they are going to win that fight, of course. There's 3 trolls left, but they've taken a lot more damage there on elite units than they had to. Actually, that said, they didn't do too badly there, to give them credit. They've still got 96 men, 95 men, so they've only lost 20. If he'd sent a unit of Arthedain pikes up, it would have been a lot more problematic. Yeah, I've just charged in, decided, yeah, now's the time to just be a bit of a pain. And just try and kill these units around the gate. I've moved my heavy flattering archers through in an attempt to just try and close down these Iron Orc crossbows. But now at this point, Bilbo, yeah, he has just sent his unit of Storm Giants in, and instantly 60 elves have just routed.
Something changes in the course of battle. Defeat seems almost certain.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing, to be honest with you. And of course they've literally just routed in place. Yeah, Storm Giants. Me and Carmondai, we've realised, yeah, these guys could be a bit of a problem. Naturally, in me being the idiot that I am, I forgot to put my pikes into pike formation. Which, that would have potentially been devastating against the Storm Giants. Charging into, like, an actual pike wall. Especially if that pike wall's elves. Is not going to go super well for the elephants. Even if they'd won, which they probably would have actually. Thinking about it. they'd have suffered quite a few casualties. But now's where the problem starts. Bilbo, well, it's not so much a problem. He's sort of fallen into my trap here. I managed to get a kill on the Storm Giants with the arrows from my Warns Mithlin before he decides to charge in and start caving in their craniums. I charge in my out of ammo unit of Warns Mithlin in an attempt to get the unit of Warns Mithlin that has ammo left out of the melee. And naturally, in the incredible balance of this game, the Storm Giants have just pretty much steamrolled my best unit of infantry that's not bodyguard team. The only reason we got a kill is because we had that shot off before they got in melee with us. We've got Commandai sending in his Arthedain pikemen in an attempt to help, but even they are suffering. We drop another one of them, and I've got my general I had to send in an attempt to just hold these giants in place so I could again shoot them. But because of the weird hitbox that these guys have, if they're in melee, because they're so small, archers actually can't shoot them. I mean, they're shooting at them now. I mean, we did get some pretty good stuff done on these Storm Giants. Yes, they got an extra, like, 70 odd kills. But we did kill 2 of them. So, yeah, Storm Giants, they needed a nerf. And thankfully, in the new build we've just got, which obviously I don't have, otherwise it would have affected the replay. These guys, they've had the nerf button hit on them. It's a pretty sizable nerf, which I think makes them more in line with what they should be. They've still got that incredibly tanky 110 melee defense, and they're going to be they're going to be horrible to kill. However, they've had their melee attack drop from 50 to 20, so that way if they're left in a melee combat, they're not going to get the damage off that they would have if you'd done it in the old build, right? In the old build, with their 50 melee attack, they're going to dish out a lot of damage. And these guys, they're on the receiving end of a few Silverthorn arrows, which they're probably not going to appreciate, to be honest with you. Commandai's renewed his offensive on this side with his Legion in an attempt to deal with these Legion of Clandoom. However, he is taking a lot of focus fire from units like the Iron Orc crossbows. And, well, both units, I think. Yeah, he's got this unit shooting as well. He's pulled his Storm Giants back because he's seen the ones of the north. And Bilbo, being the sneaky rat bastard that he is sending his unit of Warners of the Iron Crown around this building. I'm assuming to shoot at the unprotected rear of Calm's Warners of the North. However, fortunately, Calm realises this, turns his Warners of the North around, and I think decides, yes, we are sending a volley into these guys. Or he's going to charge him in melee. That's the other possibility. I guess he's going for that one. But unfortunately, Bilbo notices this and they get a volley of armor-piercing projectiles off. And that's just killed 9 ones north. And there goes another 7. These ones the Iron Crown now, however, they're in melee, so they'll beat the ones to the north, but with any luck, that arm-piercing of theirs should do some work against these ones of the Iron Crown. You can see it's already got a kill on them, but again, these ones to the north, they got shot at. They've been through the ringer, unlike these ones of the Iron Crown, who are pretty much fresh. Over here, Farm sent his Dunedain commanders in, as well as his Elendil Guardians. And these guys, collectively, they should be enough to beat this unit of Iron Orc Spears, as well as the Legion Clandoom, and all the Barrow Wights over here. However, with the addition of Iron Orc Crossbows, that's probably not going to do too well. However, seeing this, I have decided this probably a good idea to charge my Warriors of Midland, who are out of ammo at this point, into the Iron Orc crossbows, just in an attempt to shut them down. And Calm reinforces them with his unit of Arthedain pikes, because unfortunately they're having to deal with the Storm Giants, the remaining 2 Storm Giants who are just dumpstering these guys. I've got my Warriors of Midland here. You can see they keep on flickering between reloading and ready. This is me desperately trying to shoot at Storm Giants. That guy just had a bit of a weird death. So he's down to 1 Storm Giant, which is huge at this point. But my Warriors of Midland, they refuse to shoot at them. I've got my Arbony Ecthelion and the Aerendil just trying to slog through this unit of Barrow Wights. They've already killed 50 of them, but I also know that I need to kill these guys quickly. So I'm desperately trying to... These Ulf Hednar and Northfell Bondi are actually always finding a use for them in just desperately holding my 2 units of pikes and unit of Heavy Thrathrum archers at bay. So long he does that, the longer it's going to take me to outflank this position of his. So if I took a unit out of here, I don't know if I would win that.
Without their general, they may lose heart and flee.
Right, there goes Commandai's general. It's not super big at this point, considering he's down to Arthedain pikemen and this small holdout over here. However, they would probably win this, right? Provided these Dismounted Knights of Anonymous can deal with the ones of the Iron Crown, which they're just unable to do. Ones of the Iron Crown, of course, are a bodyguard tier unit, so they too are no slouches in melee. And despite these guys being a dedicated melee unit, 13 of them, it's not going to manage to break through 57 of these guys. And now these guys, they're still going to win this fight, provided they can do it quickly enough. There's only 60 Iron Orc Spears, but those Barrow Wights could prove a sterner nut to crack. And, of course, they've still got this unit of Iron Orc Crossbows providing covering fire. This annoying Storm Giant of Angmar is still causing issues. And at this point, I decide, right, for just this second, until this guy's dead, I'm charging my Warriors of Midland in to these guys instead. It might be the pikeman, but I think this guy gets the killing blow on hit, this Storm Giant. I could be completely wrong, but I'm fairly sure in the battle an elf got the kill. And of course, this is a replay, so it's just a simulation technically of the battle. So of course, the same thing might not happen here. But now he's shooting his crossbows into this fight, and yeah, it's not much fun. But actually, yeah, he's running his Storm Giants right back through here. Just being an absolute bugger. And ouch. But yeah, there we go. Actually, that might have been the crossbows that hit him. I think he actually got killed by his crossbows. But yeah, I now just desperately sprint my Warriors of Midland into this unit of Iron Orc crossbows. And 31 of them make it. Bilbo, however, being the scumbag he is, has his crossbows on guard mode, which in Medieval 2 means that, provided they're not actually fighting, they can still shoot. Which is just so incredibly annoying. However, it does make them worse in melee, which is the only positive we have. Calm's charging his pikes in, just trying to get as many of these guys in melee as possible. Because those long pointy sticks, they can reach far further back, meaning we can get more of them in melee, and just everything is good. Meanwhile, over here, I've got my units of Warriors of Midland, and they've only got a couple of shots, so I know they're not going to be able to do that much against this unit of Iron Orc crossbows. They're not going to do much against this unit of Warriors of the Iron Crown, who are now set up nicely behind Calm's final soldiers, who have managed to win this fight. There's very few Iron Orc spears. He's managed to get in and amongst these Iron Orc crossbows, albeit they're going to die by the time they reach them. But Bilbo's got his Swansea Iron Crown set up behind him, and this position falls incredibly quickly. We are so but surely grinding our way through this unit of Iron Orc crossbows, which is a bit annoying how slowly it's going, but I have sent my general of Heavy Flattering Archers, I believe, into this fight just in an attempt to speed it up. My Wardens of Mithlond, now out of ammo, are charging into the rear of these guys. I just want to get these guys killed. That's my goal. These guys, I want them dead. Quickly. Because me and Calm, we both know that if Bilbo, he's got most of his ammo left on these guys, right? They've only used like 4 shots, maybe 5. And, yep, there we go. That position's fallen. But we have managed to get... These guys are out of ammo. They're in melee. They're going to suffer. And this unit of Iron Orc crossbows, it's only got a volley or 2 left. I believe. However, he is shooting at Calm's Arthedain pikes, which is really unfortunate. However, they do manage to make it out of there, which is actually quite huge to how the fight ends up. If we look at this, we can see it's incredibly even. 90 to 91. However, what that fails to take into consideration is the fact that I've got 59 bodyguard units. He's got 57. So he's got slightly less. But they are missiles, which is very, very problematic. My poor Wardens of Mithlond and Heavy Flattering Archers. Bilbo's pulled his 24 Iron Orc crossbows out. So I decide, yeah, we need to carry on running and try and kill the rest of these guys. And they're getting shot now by the Wardens of the Iron Crown, which it's not super fun for them. Let's put it like that. Calm's just set up his Arthedain pikes here just so they're protected. Almost. We've won over here. This was immense. The fact that we won over here just meant that we had a position that was actually pretty well protected from crossbows. I mean, crossbows, they're not going through buildings, crossbow bolts. So, yeah. The biggest fear we had was him managing to get his crossbows here, right? And just firing in. But then me and Calm, we just decide that, you know what, screw it. We're gonna go to the second tier. Now, what we don't do is cap this because that'd be a bit toxic. Because, of course, he's still got a good fighting force remaining. He's still got a bodyguard tier unit which is really healthy actually, as opposed to mine, which are they're not the healthiest. My Wardens of Mithlond and Heavy Flattering Archers, I'm just trying to get these guys to finish off these Iron Orc crossbows because it's just one less unit we have to kill. And yeah, our thinking with pulling in here is that we're just gonna kill everything that's remaining here. These 3 guys, they're dead, right? They're not surviving the battle. But we do actually, I believe, leave these 2 because they're like perpetually routing. And, well, Bilbo finishes this fight up a lot sooner than I'd like. And he's able to move towards the Iron Crown over towards the centre. Calm says, Legolas, hurry up, you know the drill. And I'm just hoping that we kill these 2 guys within fairly short order. The only issue with units like Wardens of Mithlond is they've only got 15 melee attacks, so against units like Spearmen, they're not going to kill them especially quickly. But they've got 44 melee defense, so they're tanking a lot. And we see, oh my god, he's getting his guys so close to in line with us. So we just pull our guys back here. The thinking behind this was, again, walls protect us. Walls are our friends here. Bilbo's still just shooting crossbow bolts after crossbow bolts into here. Now, don't forget, this is my general, but again, I don't really mind losing him because, again, if we look here, one thing I did forget to say about Wardens of Midland is they are locked morale, so that they won't rout, and I believe my bodyguard team is locked morale as well. My pikes, however, are not, but if they're surrounded by units like Wardens of Midland and my bodyguard units, all of those 4 units have morale buffing capabilities. So if they're around these guys, they're not routing, right? And yeah, Bilbo, he's down to 1 unit of Wardens of the Iron Crown, and my general is in the last 5 men left of this push. Okay, last 6 men. Oh my god, he actually gets a kill off. I didn't realize that he did. But yeah, there's only 2 men left in his unit. One of those is about to die, let's be honest here. My general gets his 2nd kill. I didn't see this in the actual fight because I was focused on making sure that we didn't die to these guys. Who Bilbo is moving up. But then we realized, oh my god, my general's pretty much the last man left here.
The battle is very much in our favor.
I think I say to Bilbo, oh wait, no, yeah. Bilbo runs his guys away from this melee fight, right? In an attempt to shoot my general to death. And my general gets another kill, right? My guys charge. All of his crossbows that have ammo shoot this one guy, and my general gets out of it alive. And I just found this incredibly just amusing for some unknown reason. And then you can see Bilbo's just stopped his unit as we both look at the general fight going on. Just saying, oh, is he going to get a kill? Is he going to get a kill? And yeah, he's just getting dogpiled by 71 iron ore crossbows here. Which is not the greatest fit. Oh my god. Nah, that guy's getting up, so that's not a kill. In the actual fight, he didn't get a kill. But obviously because it's a replay, it's all simulated again. So he just might. We don't really have any way of knowing. Yeah, no, he doesn't. This is actually remarkably in line with what it was in the actual fight. I think there was about 70 of these guys left. Bilbo, Calm is just, I think me and Calm, we decided, right, we need to lure this unit in here. The only reason we're winning is because Bilbo, being the scumbag that he is, Bilbo's a friend, he's great. This is just jokes. But yeah, Bilbo being the scumbag he is, we know he's just going to sit out here, try and lure our units out in the open, and even if we get him in melee, he's going to have these guys on guard mode, meaning that anyone who's not actually in melee in a fight is going to be shooting into my soldiers. But with him winning this fight, Bilbo does something unexpected. I mean, more unexpected than what we've done here, which is just set our guys up in his house, essentially. I mean, it's sort of Calm's house, in a way, because it's obviously Dunedain Ascent. Dunedain Ascent, even. But yeah, I'm just trying to run my Wardens of Midland over, because even though Calm there, if these guys go into melee with him, even though he's not in the line of sight of these guys, they will win. They'll probably set up over here, and they will actually force me to go over there and try and fight him, right? So I decided that we need to set up a unit of Wardens of Midland over there, right? Or just any kind of unit in order to just try and support them. We allow Bilbo in here, because obviously that's what he's going to do. He set himself up in a gateway, so I'm thinking, if we go in, we might actually be safe, because obviously he fronts on. So Bilbo's not going to get the greatest shots off. Bilbo then spreads his unit out a bit, which I view as a perfect opportunity to potentially attack. Then obviously he moves it further in, and I notice and decide, right, yeah, all them back. You can tell that as Bilbo was watching this, he was licking his lips, at the thought that I might have just given him a nice 44 pikeman to shoot at. I mean, they probably wouldn't have even routed, thinking about it. Even missile fire, there's 44 of them left. They haven't taken damage in ages. I wouldn't think that they'd actually, like, suffer too bad. But what I'm desperately trying to do is get these guys in a position where they're in melee with one of my units, right? But in a position where Bilbo can't shoot me. Meanwhile, Bilbo is trying to get these guys into melee combat, where they can tank, but also his archers can shoot at me. I'm desperately thinking if I move these guys over here, because Bilbo, he sees this and he moves his guys back, and I'm thinking we might be able to just about get these guys in melee. Just looking at this angle, right, you can see these guys, but if you go back here, not many of these guys would actually be able to shoot. So I think it's fairly soon Bilbo moves his guys over here. I think I move my Wardens of Midland over here. In fact, I might instigate the attack with my Wardens of Midland, actually. So Bilbo's just moved his guys. I move my Wardens of Midland in. I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get my Wardens of Midland to follow him into the centre. But then Bilbo, he just pulls them back ever so slightly. But in a way, that actually gives me a better angle. Even here, you can sort of see the Wardens of the Iron Crown, right? But if you go here, where my guys would actually be, it's even better now. Right? Like, there's all of these guys over here that when they're in the fight, they wouldn't get any missile support. So I actually think I think I noticed that one of my heavy Flathrum Sea God isn't actually in Pike Wall. It takes me this long to realise it, right? I don't think this guy was in Pike Wall at all. I managed to sneak into melee with these guys. Because they're in melee, obviously in Med 2, they like fill out just wider. At least they're meant to. But because of the angle, Bilbo has to put his Wardens of the Iron Crown in closer. And we take this opportunity to, you know, we're charging these guys here. Unfortunately for Bilbo. These are not crossbows. They're not bad in melee, but they're not going to stand up to Elven pikes. They've got maybe 7 kills off. Because, obviously, and that's when I send in the second unit of Heavy Flathrum Sea God. So, these are not crossbows. They're losing this fight. They're going down pretty quickly. And so at this point, I just decided, right, we're charging you. That might be his... Yeah, these guys, they're dying. However, because it's just with Med 2 just being Med 2, my guys decide, right, we're just going to turn around for a second. Yep. There we go. Lovely. And then I have to try and give the run attack order. And the only guys running are these. Everyone else, and a few of these guys, everyone else is just walking there. We managed to get these guys in melee. Bilbo, he decides, right, we're gonna get another shot off here. I'm sorry, but you're getting shot. Fortunately, only a couple of arrows actually went off because I managed to get these guys into melee. These guys are in melee. And at this point, Bilbo just decides, right, yeah, the only way I'm winning this is if I'm not in guard mode. So obviously, units fight worse when in guard mode. At least missile units do. And melee, actually. But yeah, now we've got them in melee. They're fighting against elven quality. They'll probably kill quite a few of my bodyguard teams. Maybe not. They'll kill a few Wardens of Midland, potentially. And but yeah, this is like what the last two holdouts are obviously this unit of pikes here, which we've actually managed to push, not pikes, this unit of crossbows here, which we've actually managed to push outside of the control point. Very, very amusing. And then we have the Once the Iron Crown here, 27 of them just putting up the fight, putting up a good fight. They've killed 3 of my Omni Ecthelion, which it's pretty poor return on investment for them. But somehow it seems to think victory seems certain. Now that is somewhat of a lie, because there's 24 of them. And they're dying rather quickly. There goes the enemy general. So all 3 generals have died at this point. Calm's died a lot earlier than both mine and Bilbo's. But now mine died a little while back over there. And Bilbo's general just died just here. His general was in fact in the Once the Iron Crown, it turns out. So yeah, 13 of them. I could have sworn... Yeah, these guys, they're still alive. I didn't realise this. So I try and pull my pikes through in order to just like be a bit annoying and just poke these guys a bit. These guys, they're down to 7 now. And ironically, these guys, they're not the last survivors. There's 4 of them left. They're just getting stun locked now. They're surrounded. They're not getting attacked. So there's 2 of them left. And they're gonna die. They've got about 10 kills off. Yeah, they didn't even kill a one Mifflin. But yeah, they've got about 10 kills off, which it's not the worst.
Victory is ours. Let it be a salve upon
But yeah, there we go. There we have the win. So yeah, this was such a close victory. We had 600 men, 650 men collectively remaining. And that's actually with like all the guys you get back. In actuality, this plus the 70 odd men we had here. So you probably had about 300 men left at the end of this battle. So you can see casualties healed. All 120 heavy Flathrum Sea Wards were healed. That's just... oh my god. Yeah, looking through my kills, you can see heavy Flathrum Archers getting pretty good kill counts all said and done. 142 and 112, not half bad. One Smithland with 186, 128 with 32 prisoners caught. Again, pretty good. These guys, all of them died. They were killed down to the last man. These guys, they only lost 23, which pretty good, all things considered. My heavy Flathrum Sea Wards, you can see this unit that went up against the Trolls. And I believe this is the unit that went up against the other unit. No, that's the unit that went up against the Storm Giants, potentially. This unit of Sea Wards, I think, was the unit that supported my Axemen against the Trolls. Got 2 units of Heavy Flathrum Sea Guard with 97, 121 kills. Pikes being pikes in this mod, it's just, they're naturally going to get decent kills. Heavy Flathrum Wavebreakers, again, unit that went up against the Trolls. And 164 kills, which is just lovely. And my Bodyguard T unit's getting almost 200 and 160 kills respectively. Again, all these guys getting some decent numbers of prisoners caught. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.